Here we are in Southern California, home to some of the best sports venues, including the LA Coliseum, where NASCAR was a month ago. Today, though, we have moved to the east. Fontana playing host to NASCAR this weekend, and we start a busy Saturday with Xfinity Series practice and qualifying. And one guy, regardless of what happens today, that will leave here feeling good, Austin Hill, because he's already won. He picked up the checkered flag 1 week ago in the season opener at Daytona. We mentioned practice and qualifying. It's an all-new format for 2022 in all series. Here's how we'll do it on ovals other than Daytona and Talladega when it comes to the Camping World Truck Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 20 minutes of practice, and then get everybody set up to go qualifying. Single car runs to find out who starts on the pole later today. With Michael Waltrip, I'm Adam Alexander. Glad you're with us. The cars are on track, and with only 20 minutes, you got to go get it done early.
I'm telling you, Adam, I'm really anticipating where these drivers are going to go on the turns. You see Sheldon Creed there, and the little dust blowing up behind his car. This track's clean, and you can see there there's dust out there. It makes it a little bit difficult to grip. But what I love about Creed, I watched, he went down into turn 3 the first time, ran right out next to the wall. I think he said, I didn't like that. So this time he takes the bottom. And that's what's so much fun about this track. Jamie Little, you can tell us what the drivers think. But, man, I love the options you have here when you hit the corners at Auto Club.
Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Michael, and Double A. Good to see you guys. Yes, bright and early. Jump in the car and go for it. Well, here in the Xfinity Series, 11 drivers are making their first start here at California Speedway. One of those, 19-year-old Ty Gibbs. Never been here before, so what is their game plan? Well, Chris Gale, the crew chief, told me he's going to get in there, go out and run 10 to 15 laps. They want as many laps as possible. The only reason they would bring it down pit road to work on it is if they had a major issue. It's all about gaining experience today for his first race coming up later today. Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, the opposite end of the spectrum is right next to Ty Gibbs. You've got the 7 car of Justin Allgaier getting set to make his 13th start at Fontana. Well, I spoke to him as he got in the race car. He said, I'm not like these young guys. I don't need all the laps that they need. Give me 1 lap on the racetrack. That's all I need to do. I just want to see what my car is going to feel like when I hit the track for qualifying. If I get more laps, that's great. Otherwise, I know this place. I finished second here in 2018, and I am ready to go.
And I think because of his experience, you could make him a favorite later today. We have a stalled car. Here's a good story. Trevor Bayne racing this weekend, driving the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. I don't like what I see here because he stalled out, but I am glad he's here with us in Fontana, California. Welcome in, everybody. You heard from us. Now you see us. Michael Waltrip, Adam Alexander. What are your thoughts on this new format? You get 20 minutes to practice and then line up and qualify.
I have a grandson. He's 7. He says sometimes, Papa, I've never seen that before. Well, we've never seen this before. I'm really anticipating how these drivers will attack this session and get ready to qualify. We heard the veteran Allgaier is going to chill. And already Noah Gragson about a half a second faster than anybody that's been on the track. So his experience is paying off as well. It's going to be a very entertaining show, Adam.
Historically, this hasn't been a great track for Gragson. I have a feeling he'll show his hand here today. Already is. Practice underway for the Xfinity Series in Fontana. 7 minutes into practice for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And when they wrap here, they'll shut it down and go qualifying. Justin Allgaier has hit the track, and he is fastest. Let's listen in.
Holy windy. Dude, you have no idea. Yeah, those flags in the infield, they're like straight out. The damn wind is insane right now. Holy windy. The damn wind is insane right now. Yeah, the gust up here, that got to be 40 miles per hour. Still strapped to the railing. I need it.
And it's not that the wind is blowing at them, it's what the wind is blowing. And it's pushing these cars as you enter the corners, trying to push it up the hill. And then conversely, on the other corner, you've got side force is helping you through the corner. So the driver really has to pay attention, listen to his spotter, and understand exactly which way the wind is blowing. But it only takes these guys, the professionals that they are, a couple of laps to figure it out.
You have turbulence in the draft, right, when you're out there with other cars. Then you magnify that with this wind. It's got to be a lot to manage for these guys.
Oh, and some guys have never seen this track before. That'll get their attention. And look at all those grooves. I love options, and that's what's so fun about this track in California. You go down in the corner, you look at that place, you look at the entry, you say, which way do I go? Do I want to go low? Want to go high? All of them will work. Just depends on how your car's working.
On board with Riley Herbst. He's a West Coast kid. Grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. Second place finish here a couple of years ago, coming off a top 5.
Look at him work the wheel. There's not one time during the lap that you're going to see a guy in the corner that he's not just working that wheel, as you saw Herbst do there, back and forth, because that's how challenging getting grip in the corners is here. We've already lost about a second of lap time, Adam, in just 4 or 5 laps, and that tells you how much the tires fall off and how much these drivers have to adapt to changing conditions.
I had a crew chief tell me this morning, fuel window here is easily over 40 laps, but you want tires in 10, right? Because this place is, well, they've never resurfaced this track dating back to the mid-90s, so it gives you an idea of how worn out it is.
I'm gonna go with 5 laps. We want new tires.
Okay.
That's how.
Or 3?
Yeah, give me tires every time, but you don't have that many.
Great history in Fontana for Joe Gibbs Racing. Here's Brandon Jones. Very successful here 2 years ago. Before crashing late, he had dominated this 300-mile event. Jamie?
Well, Adam, one of the handful of California-born drivers in the field is Sheldon Creed in the 2. I talked to him on his way into the garage this morning. He said, I've never been on any track larger than a mile in an Xfinity car, so this will be a new experience. Now, he was one of the cars that went out right away, so they're not judging their speed based on how dirty the track was, as you guys were talking about. Just trying to get acclimated right now. Remember, this driver grew up about an hour and a half from here. He grew up camping out, watching races at this track, so it's pretty cool experience that he gets to actually race on this track now.
And you talk about potential first-time winners today, and we've had a bunch of them in this series lately. I'd say he's a candidate. Here's his teammate, Austin Hill.
We talked about it, Adam, and what kind of load these drivers have when they get down to the corners. I think he's catching his breath a little bit while he's going down the long front straightaway and says, all right, let's roll in here and work our hands, work our feet. You can hear him just tickling the gas there, trying to get the power down. It's just such an adventure here.
41.36.
And then it's bumpy down the back. You can see there, driver bouncing around. You got to have your focus perfect when you dive into 3.
I don't think the bumps look as bad. They did some grinding over on the back straightaway, but and give us an idea of how rough it was over there, because cars almost look like a basketball in years past going down there.
9 first lap, moving up there, go 3 and 4, no pressure by 20.
That's just some information from the spotters saying where people are running on the track, and it's really important to know if someone moves around, goes up a groove or 2 higher than you and makes good lap time, the driver needs to know that so he can adapt and adjust. But back to the back straightaway, I mean, you couldn't even literally see where you're going, it felt like, as you headed down the back, and they've addressed that, and it looks like it's better. I know there's a lot of the Cup drivers in the garage area. This is a good bouncy picture here. See, it's still quite bouncy, but not as much as it used to be, and I know there's a lot of guys that are happy about that. That affects a lot of things, Adam, the setup. If you got low tire pressure, if you have really aggressive shocks, it can change the way your car works on the straightaway and then into the corner. So the teams really try to balance those bounces.
Sam Mayer in the 1. Running full-time for Junior Motorsports after making 18 starts a year ago once he turned 18.
13th fastest so far in this session.
His teammate Allgaier is still quickest, but what about the fall off from lap 1 to lap 10? That's how many laps he's put on the board.
Yeah, about a second and 7/10, nearly 2 seconds of fall off, and that's what makes this race so fun. These drivers slipping and sliding, and then the crew chiefs trying to figure out when to use those tires. They have 5 sets for the race. When do you use them? Can you take a chance and get tires after 6-8 laps if the caution flies? These are all things that they'll have to decide and balance. You want that speed, but you might need those tires late in the race.
All these teams got 6 sets for the weekend. You use 1 for practice and then turn them in.
The fuel pressure is maxed out at 15 in red. I don't know, it doesn't have any fuel pressure gauge is broken anymore. What are your temperatures like? 210. The water gauge doesn't even work either. It says 0. Water pressure, I mean.
There's a lot going on there. Anytime I thought the gauge was broke, it generally was the engine was breaking. But they know a gauge is broken, but if the driver, Kyle, says she's laying down, that's not good. There's only 5 minutes left in practice, Adam.
That's what I was going to say. No time to get it fixed.
After a wild finish, rookie Austin Cindric took Daytona. Now the action heads west. The greatest drivers on the planet hit the Auto Club Speedway.
Get wound up for this race.
For some controlled chaos.
We got action everywhere.
Fontana, where speed rules. NASCAR Cup Series, live from Fontana, Sunday at 3 Eastern on Fox.
3 minutes to go in practice as we look at our Fox weather. And the headline, no doubt the wind, gusts up to 35 miles per hour.
What about our cameraman trying to hang on there?
I mean, and thanks to everyone on our crew, because we start at 9 o'clock local time with this practice qualifying session. We'll be here through 7:30 this evening with Cup practice qualifying and, of course, the Xfinity Series race. There's Steve hanging out up top. I hope he's tied in. There's Myatt Snyder on track, driving the 31 for Jordan Anderson, currently 35th in practice. Let's go back to last Saturday. Final lap, season opening event. And you've seen the highlight by now, I'm sure. But Myatt gets upside down, flips into the catch fence. The car completely destroyed. Myatt able to walk away. Said he had some discomfort in his leg and foot, but was cleared to drive this weekend here in Fontana. And you look at that car, it is amazing how that thing just came completely apart.
I mean, it's amazing that the cockpit, the cocoon where Myatt was setting, was able to maintain its integrity, and he walked away from this crash. Every now and then, Adam, in NASCAR, there's a crash that you see and it stops your heart, and you just hope that everything is going to be okay, and that was the case here. You really no way to explain how a man can wreck at 190 miles an hour, have his car tore into pieces, and then get up and walk away, and then hop in a car the next weekend and get to race again.
If you looked at that and you said, where's the engine? Well, it was gone too. That was part of the debris that flew from that race car. Here's what he said on the radio after this wreck last week.
I think I'm okay. The entire engine's ripped out. Well, sorry guys, we just got turned.
Wow, his voice.
Yeah, you could tell he was really trying to take it all in.
Talk about the motor they're listening and tell me what the car did that run.
He did say in the garage yesterday that he's going to have a carbon fiber plate in his driver's shoe to help with comfort this weekend. And practice is done, 30-minute short. We had a car stall out, so the red and black flags being displayed, and Justin Allgaier, the quickest to the bunch.
Yeah.
30 minutes, 30 seconds short. 30 minutes would have meant we didn't get out there at all because it was only 20 minutes.
The drivers might have said, well, it's actually an hour short, Adam.
That's right.
We needed more. We needed more.
Of course. So practice is done in Fontana. Allgaier, Gregson, Jones, Allmendinger, and Gibbs, the top five. The practice portion of practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series is complete in Fontana, California. Now we get a 10-minute break and everybody resets to go out and make their qualifying run. A junior motorsports presence at the top, Allgaier and Gregson. Regan Smith.
Well, Adam, that's correct. Noah Gregson's second in that practice session. A lot of speed, and you actually got 17 laps in this short practice session. Enough time to find out what you need to for this afternoon?
Yeah, I really wanted to see just how the tire degradation was throughout the long run. And, you know, Luke Lambert and the Bass Pro Shop boys, they brought a really fast race car here so far. So I know we went out early. They put resin down this weekend, so everything felt fine there. I thought it was going to be maybe a little slick to fire off, but it felt like it did in the past. So really good Bass Pro Shop Camaro. It's really windy out here, so got to keep an eye on the wind and how the gusts are forming it. But we, JRM Chevys are fast, 1-2. Got to go pick my teammate Justin Allgaier's brain, see if we can learn more and be better for qualifying. So just coming up with a plan and being ready. All you can ask for is the drivers having a fast car, and that's what we have right now.
Adam, it's going to be a good day at the racetrack. We've already got tire degradation on the air. I love that word when we're at a racetrack.
But actually, it's 2 words, Regan. But
he likes the second word better.
I think that's a hard one to say. Just about time for qualifying in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Before we get there, we look at our best 15-lap average from the practice session that just wrapped. Trevor Bayne, 18 circuits around this 2-mile oval. Top of the board when it comes to the 15-lap average. Let's go to Jamie.
It's great to see Trevor Bayne back behind the wheel. Only one Xfinity race since 2014, so welcome back. What was it like to jump in and just get right up to speed again?
Well, as you can imagine, one race since 2014. It's been 6 years since I was in an Xfinity car at all. I was pretty rusty on the first lap. I sailed it into turn 1, kind of where I lifted in the simulator, and I was like, oh man, I could have drove it in 10 car lengths deeper. So then by the second lap, tires are worn out. But really, it took about 5 laps to feel like I was comfortable again. And I'm just so thankful to be here. I mean, to be out of the car for 3 years, I didn't know if I'd ever get a chance to do this again. So to be back where I want to be in a fire suit, I love having the Fox logo on with you guys, but it's fun to have a fire suit on this weekend, and it wouldn't happen without Devotion Nutrition. They came on board and said, we want to give you another shot. We'll see where it goes. 7 races to try to get some wins.
Once a racer, always a racer. Look at that smile. Excited to see what Trevor Bayne can do here today, Adam.
I love that smile, Jamie, and he's a great teammate, not just for us, but for the guys at Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's driving for the right team. Gibbs has been incredible here over the years. 10 wins in Fontana, the best all time.
You can see he won the Daytona 500 in 2011. First start for Joe Gibbs Racing. What I love about this start, Adam, he did everything perfectly like you'd expect a veteran to do. First lap, a little conservative. You heard him say that. But then by the 15th lap, he had the fastest average lap time by over 1/10 of a second. So he's pumped up right now. I can promise you. You know how excited he was when he's thinking about this opportunity. Now he's got the opportunity, and he's in a position to go win this race.
He's won the sport's biggest race, as you said, the Daytona 500. But when you haven't been around in a while, and you're driving that car here where Gibbs has been so good, some pressure, I got to believe, right?
I guarantee you he wants to perform. This session was a huge success for him mentally. He felt confident that he could get the job done, but until you go do the job and put up 15-lap average times that's better than all the others, that was a great start to this day for that young man, and such a good kid, a young man, colleague for us. I'm glad he's got this opportunity.
He's going to run 7 races in that car this year. Something is on the loose. A product of the wind, I believe. Qualifying next.
The sound is unmistakable. The speed is unstoppable. On March 4th, 5th, and 6th, you will live it. NASCAR invades Sin City once again for a weekend of thundering fury. We've got trucks, we've got camping, we got fights, we've got action. It's the Pennzoil 400 race weekend. Did I mention kids' tickets are just $10? It's Vegas, baby.
Quick reminder of our format today. We finished our 20-minute practice session. There's a 10-minute break in between practice and qualifying where teams can change tires, make adjustments, get ready to go out for one round of qualifying. 41 cars here, 38 make the show, and the top 33 will be locked in on time. Let's go downstairs one more time and hear from Regan.
Adam Sheldon Creed getting ready to make his first start here at California Speedway. Sheldon, you actually got a few laps in. Your first start even on a big track such as a 1.5 miles or up in these Xfinity cars. How does it feel having some laps before you got to go qualify?
Yeah, thankful we had at least a little bit of practice, right, rather than last year where we get none. So, yeah, just tried to go learn. Didn't really go bust a lap or anything to put one on the board, but learned a lot, tried a bunch of different lines, and the car is probably faster than I am right now, but I think by the end of stage 1, we'll be up there and then maybe be able to compete for a win today.
Adam, I can tell you Tyler Reddick was down here. A lot of interest from the Cup Garage in this practice as well. Guys just coming out to see how things are going to flow, what's going to take place. Of course, they're going to do this here shortly, just a little bit later on this morning.
You know, with that, Regan, one guy to really watch here is Cole Custer. He won the Xfinity race here in 2019, but he's, you know, the only top-end guy when you talk about those doing double duty. And the knowledge that he could gain, not just from the format, even though Xfinity and Cup are a little bit different when you talk about the setup for practice and qualifying, but everything that's been done to this track. I mean, this is a huge opportunity for him.
Yeah, but he's a great teammate. He's going to share that information. And, you know, as a racer, you want to get all the feel for the car, feel for the track that you possibly can. And it just builds confidence. Like we talked with Trevor Bayne, lap after lap, he became more and more confident. Cole Custer's sitting in a good spot right now, having won here before and knowing what this track has adapted to.
He's driving the 07 for Bobby Dotter. They have an alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing, and both those Fords from his camp and from the Stewart-Haas camp with Riley Herbst were fast. First car out in qualifying will be the 47 of Brennan Poole. There you see Riley. No, actually, that's Ty Gibbs. But they both have the Monster uniform.
Energy. Sponsorship. This car is not up to pace, Adam. It sounds bad and it's broken. How you like that analyzation?
Genius.
Well, correct, for sure. We need him to figure this out.
And let's go to Jamie, and you need to tell Ty Gibbs to do something different with that uniform so it doesn't confuse me when I see he and Riley, you know?
Well, I see. Yes, there is a resemblance between you and Riley. I'm sure you probably hear, hey, Riley, and he hears the same, right?
Yeah, you know, I grew up with Riley, so we're kind of brothers. He's probably more of my big brother, so he kind of bossed me around a little bit, but I feel like I've got a little taller, so maybe I can boss him around.
He's a little bit older, but let's talk about what happened on the track. First time out, I saw your teammate come over, Brandon Jones. He's pretty good around this place. What kind of advice did he give you?
Yeah, you know, I was just kind of asking him, you know, where I need to be at, because I let him pass me just so I could kind of read off of him to know where I'm at. Kind of hard to come here and not have that much time at practice and not ever be here, so it's just different, but I like to learn quick, and I think we'll be pretty good. I feel like I got a fast Monster Energy Toyota GR Supra, and hopefully we can do something with it.
To say he's a quick learner, I think, is an understatement, Adam.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of that, a couple of years ago, the Gibbs guys, quick learners here. Harrison Burton got his first career win driving for the coach 2 years ago in this race. Second place, then driving for Joe Gibbs. Riley Herbst, and here's what you talked about, the problems for Poole. He's going to coast around and pull it back down onto the pit lane, and that introduces us to our second qualifier of the day, the 33 of Will Rogers.
This is his 8th Xfinity start he's going to be making. He's a 3-time winner in the K&N East Series, so he's got some wins under his belt in NASCAR on one of the smaller series and a lot of talent. And plus, I don't think he ever met a man he didn't like.
Well played.
Thank you, Artie.
He's from Hawaii. So, I mean, this is his home track, right? I mean, it's got to be, even though it's a good ways away.
I like his line. I think he's doing a nice job. Be interesting to see. I thought most people would run near the bottom in 3 and 4, but we saw literally cars all over the place. See, there's the bumpy back straightaway we talked about. There goes Rogers to the bottom. I like that line in 3 and 4. Trailing a little steam out of the overflow there, meaning the engine's running a little bit warm. See what kind of lap he can put down compared to practice. This is going to be interesting, Adam.
41.88. Rogers earlier was a 42.62, so a nice pickup here, and I'm sure that's just from taping it up, right? Putting it more in the qualifying mode?
Well, probably also new tires. You know, he didn't know how to take advantage of the new tires when he went out in the first session. He had some laps under his belt and was able to say, all right, I need to charge turn, like we heard Trevor Bayne say, I need to charge turn 1 harder, and that's what he adapted to and adjusted to and did a great job.
Here's Mason Massey driving the 91, 25 years old, out of Georgia. Grew up racing with Austin Hill, who won last weekend at Daytona. Unfortunately, Mason failed to qualify in the season opening race, driving for Mario Gosling.
And he's never raced here, so his eyes are wide open, I can promise you that. Tracking right there with Rogers.
notice anything on any of the cars? Tight, loose, just the trim.
It's pretty even.
I'll see if I can
pretty even match there, isn't it?
Massey to the top, 41.77. Regan?
Adam, somebody that we're certainly happy to see back at the racetrack this week, Myatt Snyder. Very scary incident last week. Got to ask, sounds like you're feeling okay, but everything all good in the race car through that first practice?
Yeah, for the most part. I think it's we're all just trying to figure out what this resin's doing to the racetrack. You know, it's definitely was a lot different than I expected it to be coming back here. So, yeah, we threw a lot in the car to get this tax layer Camaro a lot better, and hopefully we can go and put it up in the top 10.
Thanks, Myatt.
Scary. But then so cool, we can have an interview with them walking down pit road. Stephen Parsons and the SoCal Media Group Chevrolet, they got this car, Adam, they bought it from Junior Motorsports. It was raced last year, so Stephen was really confident and thankful for what he had to drive here. BJ McLeod put him together a great car. You can see him slipping and sliding through 3 and 4, but a good lap for Parsons.
Top 20 in practice, and it looks like he's going to back it up here in qualifying. 41.61 in practice, 41.20 in his qualifying lap. He's in front of 3 guys. You just have to beat 8 to make it into the show. Top 33 get in on speed.
Yeah, they missed Daytona. Really disappointing for that team to stumble out of the gate, but like I said, they really were confident in what they were bringing here.
Father Phil, a 2-time winner in the Xfinity Series, also has a Cup win under his belt.
And a heck of a golfer.
Depends on who you ask, actually.
Joe Graff Jr. is going to hit the road. I think we're seeing sort of a theme, right, Adam? Sort of middle to upper part of the turns 1 and 2, and then diving to the bottom into 3. Parsons' car looked really loose when he dove into 3, but he hung on to it. See the left front dragging there on the 08 for Graff. Kind of made a late entrance and diving to the low side.
It's so hard, though, because, as you mentioned, tires such a factor, and they wear out, 2 laps in. Even if your mindset in practice was qualifying runs, it's hard to get a gauge on what you need to do, because by the time you figure it out, your tires are worn out, and you can't truly get a read on the speed. Here's Graff. He clocks in 4th of the 5 that have been out.
And you know what's important, Adam, to note? That you don't have time to overanalyze it, at least. You're not going to spend all afternoon worrying about what you got to go run and what everybody else ran. Let's just go qualify and see how it goes.
Last week, the 45 Caesar Baccarella. This weekend, Kaz Gralla. Jamie?
And last week at Daytona, it was a good race for Daniel Hemrick. Won 2 stages there. So what do you think here today at California? Any shot at the pole, do you think?
I think it's such an unknown. Everybody firing out there together, cars in different lanes. So it'll be interesting to see this probably make Camaro's fast 6 lanes there and that. But, I mean, I don't know. Somebody's going to stay on the pole, right? So you got to at least give it a go. More or less, the 15 or 16 laps we got to run there was just acclimating to the parts and pieces of these race cars. And everyone here at Colleague Racing's working their tails off. So, yeah, we'll go run a single lap here and jump through what we got to do to go race.
Love all these unknowns down here. That's what it's all about.
I'm not sure the drivers like it, but I'm with you, Jamie. Give me all the unknowns. 2nd for Gralla.
Nice run for Kaz.
Here's our teammate.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun story this afternoon for you guys to cover. Got to be pretty confident taking the green flag here after what he learned in his practice session. Run a little bit higher in 1 and 2 as maybe that's the highest anybody's been yet, right, Adam?
Yeah, I would say you're right.
Be interesting to see what he does in 3 and 4.
I think he's going to go to the top regardless of what he does in 3 and 4, right?
Did he have a pretty good 1 and 2 or what?
Well, I mean, look at the ghost car. I mean, he is stretching it out. Almost a second better than Stephen Parsons, who right now is at the top.
I'm so happy for Trevor. Gets this chance and taking advantage of it.
And his crew chief pretty good here, too. Jason Ratcliffe has won here 4 times in the Xfinity Series. Not much drama, 40.093. And I'm guessing, based on that,
40.09.
Pole will take us down to the 39s, right?
Well, that's the fastest lap we've seen this morning from Trevor. But, yeah, there's going to be more speed in the track for these guys.
Timmy Hill driving the 38 this weekend for RSS Racing.
The last time we qualified here, the pole was a 39.94. So we're not too far off that right now.
Ironically enough, by Brandon Jones, who also drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. So Trevor's right there in the game for sure. And a reminder, one round of qualifying. What you see here is what you get. There is no, top 10 in advance like what we had last week at Daytona. I think that the teams like that, you and I like that. I mean, that's a lot for you and I to factor in.
I like the way that 38 car looked down in 3 and 4. Timmy Hill with a nice drive through the turn and a good lap.
He's second, Regan.
Adam, you mentioned the guy that had the pole last time we were here at California Speedway, Brandon Jones. You know something about getting around this racetrack fast. What do you think it's going to take today, and how does it feel like the last time you were here?
Yeah, I mean, especially after 2020, we expect to be as fast as Xfinity is every time we show up now. So I'm looking forward to qualifying. That session was definitely different. 20 minutes was pretty short, but I really feel like we should have a shot at the pole here. So Patriot Lighting, Menards got the whole season this year, so I'm looking forward to kicking this off. We kind of had a rough start to the year with Daytona, but that's always kind of the one that you either do good at or you throw it away. So this is the one that we start this weekend on.
Thanks, Brandon.
Here's another guy to keep an eye on, but to put in perspective how good the laps are we've seen so far, I mean, he's pacing, behind Trevor Bayne. That's, ooh, boy, big pickup as Cole Custer comes off the corner.
Cole was able to use that lower lane and really gun it to the top.
P1 for Cole Custer, the 2019 Fontana winner.
You ran a 40.04. Where does that put us? P1. Cool.
Cool. Isn't it great? Just one little lap time can really make you happy, and this is what it's all about right now. Whether you're Stephen Parsons, who was just trying to make sure he made it into the field, or if you're Cole Custer thinking you're going to win again here in California. See the kind of speed these guys have. This is a guy that was wanting to bounce back from a disappointing Daytona. 2018 Truck Series champion Brett Moffitt.
And had a good car, just in a wrong place, wrong time. We've said it a million times at Daytona, that on the heels of a year ago at Daytona, finishing a runner-up, best ever run for our Motorsports, a 3-car operation this season. He's the 10th car to make a lap, and the 02 will be third. Cole Custer leads the way in qualifying. We're live in Fontana, California.
There's a reputation on the track, one that screams, bring it, loud enough so the whole world will see it coming. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
41 cars made their way to Fontana, California to try and race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series event later today. 3 will go home. And this camera shot gives you an idea of the winds we are facing here in Southern California. I give a nod to our crew, not only for what they're doing today, very long day, but Michael, when you consider this is our second race in Southern California in less than a month, in between, you shoot to Daytona Beach, Florida, come back out here, the travel, the setup, the long days. I don't need to say it, but we have the best in the business, and we thank each and every one of them.
You got that right, Adam. Being able to bring NASCAR into folks' living room with the way that Fox does it, it's an honor to be a part of the team. And you had to adjust your camera lenses, right? We're at the Coliseum in the quarter mile. We stretched it out to two miles now. We had a lot of adjusting to do in between, not only as TV folks, but these teams as well, getting used to or getting ready for this 2-mile oval.
I salute the fans, too. They came out at the Clash, and they're out this weekend. The infield is full. It looks awesome. Yeah. Here's Joey Gase finishing his lap. He's 10th of 11. Jamie?
Brandon Brown, one of those drivers, excited to be back out here in California. Brandon coming off a top 10 in Daytona. They've done some things to the track. There's resin on there. They ground the backstretch. How are things different this time than you remembered?
I mean, everything's way different. It's like my lift points completely changed because with this added resin, there's added grip, and with added grip, you don't have to lift as much. So we definitely, I mean, we can drive it in way harder. And then, I was excited because they were like, we're going to grind the bumps down on the backstretch. I'm like, great. Call the chiropractor, like, hey, we're off, no more. And then went down in practice, and I was like doing my best Ricky Carmichael on whoop-de-doos. And I was like, going to call him. We're back on. So
No, it's going to make for an interesting event. Got to keep the car clean because we got to race it next week. So it's going to be a toss-up on how people drive.
A lot going on between those years here.
Brandon Brown taking Jamie back to her roots, talking about Ricky Carmichael and whoop-de-doos in Supercross. Jeremy Clements, the veteran driver out of South Carolina, goes third.
Yeah, that's a great lap. And another team that needs to bounce back after a disappointing Daytona. And, you know, it's interesting. We heard a couple of drivers allude to it. You come to California, if you had a bad Daytona, you say, we're going to start right here. But if you're Austin Hill, you're going to say, I just won the biggest race of the year in Daytona. So your perspective has to change, because more likely going to see week in and week out who's going to be fast when you come to a place like California. It'll dictate who may be up front at Vegas and so on down the road.
Real quick on Jeremy Clements today, 400th career start.
That's awesome.
In the Xfinity Series.
Family-owned team. Saw his dad down there tuning on the engine this morning. Always makes me smile when I see those guys and know how the hard work pays off.
92, Kyle Weatherman.
Looks like a police car.
It does. Weatherman 6th, Regan.
Adam, the fastest guy in this practice earlier here at California, Justin Allgaier. Justin, a lot of experience at this racetrack. A lot of differences, though. We've got the rosin on the racetrack. We haven't been here in a year. And, by the way, we got the wind. How can you incorporate all that stuff into what you're doing?
It's difficult. You know, we were talking off camera. You know, I wasn't expecting the track to drive like it did. It had way more grip earlier than I thought it would. So hats off to them for the resin that's down. It'd be interesting. You know, I think it's going to change throughout the course of the day, especially after Cup practice and Cup qualifying. But our Brent Fresher Agriculture Chevrolet is really good. Obviously P1 in practice, but now I got to go back that up with a single lap, and that's going to be the toughest part, is just knowing what lane to run, knowing how much grip the track's going to have right now versus what it did earlier, and not overstepping those bounds. I told you the moments are bigger. You know, you feel like you have grip because of the rosin down, and when you hit the limit, the moments are bigger. So we'll see what happens.
Adam, I'm a big fan. If the moments are bigger, that means we might see some mistakes here later on.
Highlight reel material coming your way at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Josh Williams, 12th of 14. And we talk about the resin. And in the last handful of years, we mentioned traction compound a lot to add grip. Started last summer at Nashville with the resin. Did it at Michigan. Now we're doing it here. And it really seems to be doing its thing to add grip and give drivers even more options and create that competitive racing that we love so much.
Well, I think it's also a great option as opposed to repave it. Look at there. Way up high in the dust. Jesse Iwuji out of the groove a bit. That's a groove that will be run later today for sure, but I just don't think it's ready yet.
You got to kind of arc to the bottom down here. Just wrap the bottom a little bit.
I think it's a little bit early to be that high, and maybe just slipped when he got in the corner and couldn't get it down. You heard the spotter say, arc it down. That's a great entry, a great run.
Wrap it, let it go to the wall.
There you go. It's good coaching.
Whirly on me. Drive it straight down to the bottom.
Jesse Iwuji made the show last week at Daytona, running full-time, partnered with Pro Football Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith on this deal. And he qualifies in the 13th position for the moment. Interesting mix at the top. Cole Custer is there. Trevor Bayne, who's in to drive for Joe Gibbs Racing. First of 7 starts. Jeremy Clements. Brett Moffitt. Timmy Hill. And the next driver we will see from Franklin, Wisconsin, 18-year-old Sam Mayer. As he hits the track, we go to Jamie.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger, he has not been here in an Xfinity car since 2007. It's been a minute. What was it like to hop back in one of these cars?
It's been a while since being here, but it's typical Fontana. It was really dirty down the front straightaway, and you go in the corner, and car kind of bounces around, and wherever it lands, that's the lane that you run on that lap. So, the Nutrien Ag Solution Chevy was pretty good. You know, it's the funny thing is thinking about it, I haven't really had to do a lot of qualifying in my Xfinity career with the pandemic and at places like this at least. So all this is new. So we'll go out there and try to get a solid lap and then go have some fun here in the afternoon.
Welcome back to your home state, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, I'm Northern California. I know we all have an argument. It's like, it's California. It's like, it's a different part of the state, but hey, a win's a win. We go trophy hunting here.
Yeah, and you got a lot of fans. That's A.J. Allmendinger.
And Jamie, he won on the West Coast last year, about a year ago, actually, at Las Vegas. And that start she mentioned in 2007, his first ever start in the Xfinity Series 15 years ago here in Fontana.
And he's had a smile on his face ever since. Been a lot of fun to watch AJ get a second chance, if you will, at NASCAR, and taking full advantage of it. Winning races and racing for championships, or trophy hunting, as he and Matt Collig, Chris Rice, that group like to call it.
Runner-up last week at Daytona, Sam Mayer finishes his lap 4th.
He'll take that.
Sure.
It's a nice effort for the 18-year-old.
You know, his crew chief, Taylor Moyer, has a farm, and he had him on the farm this week doing a little work. That's a little different than making your employment as a race car driver, isn't it, Michael?
Well, you got to roll up your sleeves. Do whatever it takes to have team camaraderie. It's nice to be able to hang out with your crew chief, whether it's on the farm or on the golf course or however you go about it. It's important to have that friendship with the guy that's listening to your voice and trying to decide what kind of adjustment he needs to make based on the pitch of it. You know, I'm really loose. You know, you better really get after it.
Saw Kaz Grala earlier in the 45. He's 9th. Here's the team car. Tommy Joe Martin's driving the 44. This is Alpha Prime Racing, 2-car operation for 2022. And you can tell they're teammates because they're right there together. Grala
Yes, they are.
41.56, Martin's 41.31.
220 at the line. That's his temperature, just so the team knows how they might adjust when they get ready to go racing. Not much you can adjust on, Adam, but tape is one thing.
By the way, you got to beat 8 to lock yourself in. Martins has done that, so he's in the show. Stephen Parsons has as well. Kyle Weatherman, another driver that knows he will race later today based on where he is right now, as we look at Alex LeBay driving the 36. You touched on it earlier. Great top 10 for this team last week at Daytona when Josh Bilicki was behind the wheel.
And a great run here for this team and Alex LeBay. Alex can really will it. He's going to get everything out of that car that is possible. And I just loved his line through 1 and 2. And you can see sweeping down to the bottom here, trying to wrap that corner, just hold it all the way around and then let it slide up to the outside wall. Nice lap here for Alex.
He can't hear you, but you did a nice job coaching LeBay, who at the line is 7th. Regan?
Adam, a huge win last week for Austin Hill. Austin, obviously a big celebration last week. How tough is it to refocus and remind yourself California's this week?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good time for Daytona, but you know, come Monday morning when you're sitting in your meetings and all, I mean, your mindset's to go win another one. So everybody back at RCR, Andy Street, all the guys, they brought a really fast Chevy Camaro today. I'm just trying to figure it out. You know, new team, new car. Just trying to figure out kind of the limits. It seemed like in practice I was giving up a little bit in some certain areas. So I'm definitely going to work on that as a driver throughout the race. Don't know really what to expect for qualifying, but hopefully we can go put it down a lap. But yeah, our Bennett Transportation and Logistics Chevy Camaro was okay. We just got a few minor details to work on, and we'll be good in the race.
Thanks, Austin.
I saw him on the infield yesterday. I went over to offer my congratulations. I said, "You seem like you're in a hurry." He said, I'm going to meet AD, Austin Dillon, and they were going for a jog here at the track. So getting it done when he's behind the wheel, and also when he's got on his tennis shoes all laced up for a run with his teammate on the cup side, as Matt Mills makes his run in qualifying. He's 10th.
I'm just really impressed by all these drivers and their commitment to physical fitness. All you have to do is follow Ricky Stenhouse Jr. if you want to see how serious they take being mentally and physically ready to go race a car. It's so tough to be out there for 3 hours and the competition and you just want to, as a driver, you just want to say, I've got an advantage over those guys because I am mentally and physically ready to tackle this track. But there's very few advantages anymore because most all the drivers do have a pretty strict physical regiment routine.
I would encourage you to use Stenhouse as an inspiration, but not a baseline on what you need to be doing. He's out of control. Jade Buford, one of the great stories of qualifying last week at Daytona. He puts it in the top 5 here. Cole Custer leading the way. How windy is it in Southern California? The Fox weather app is awesome, but if you see these shots, you don't necessarily need the weather app. You don't need to be a meteorologist.
The windmill needed to gear down a notch. It was getting out of control.
Making some money today. Halfway through qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Next up for Bailey Curry. Mentioned good storylines out of qualifying last week at Daytona. The team car Ryan Vargas put on a show last week. We loved it. And across the board, JD Motorsports with a good day at the World Center of Racing. Both their cars in the top 20 in the season opener.
Bailey was the 20th position finisher in Daytona. Interesting to see how the team is able to adapt to the 2 miles here in California.
You know, they've had over the years 3 or 4 cars in their fleet. This year, 2. That's got to help a small team like this, limited employees, not right in the Charlotte area. When you have only 2 cars to manage, I would think it gives you an opportunity for more success.
Yeah, and they're looking for more performance, too. They want to make sure they use the resources they have and focus on the 2 cars, and that was a decent lap right there for Bailey.
12th of 21. He's locked in to race later today. Looking at this thing now, best lap in practice, and we went over this a little bit earlier, but 40.35 for Justin Allgaier. Best lap here is a 40.046 for Custer. As we start to get into some of these fast guys, what kind of number you think you're going to have to put up here?
You know, it's warming up a little bit, Adam, and I'd be interested to see what the teams think about that, but it's pretty... I'm going to say they have to go into 39s. I bet you they're going to run a 39.60 or 70 maybe. But Cole Custer knows how to get it done here, and he's just at a 40.04. But I'm going to say down in the 39s for sure.
Saw Brett Moffitt earlier. This is the 27 of Jeb Burton, one of his teammates. Won last year at Talladega.
Way too tight. Turns the wheel to the left, and the car wants to go straight. That scrub speed, and the result is a 9th place run so far.
P9 there. I'll get you a lap time in a minute.
See, he slots in just ahead of Kyle Weatherman. That was a good run for that young man as well.
31 of Myatt Snyder. We've shown you the video, that last lap crash last weekend at Daytona. And, you know, the crazy thing about that is he's up there in a position where he could, you know, maybe not win the race on the final lap, but he's going to finish top 5, top 10. That happens, changes everything. You got a destroyed race car. You got to pick up the pieces there. And now you come here a little bit behind the 8 ball. We'll see if they can bounce back in Southern California.
It's a good-looking 31 Tax Slayer car. Jordan Anderson has really grown his operation, and Myatt's there to try to take advantage of all the hard work that Jordan has done.
'16th for Myatt Snyder.
Not the lap they were hoping for, but Jamie Little, who have you caught up with?
Jade Buford, he qualified 3rd at Daytona last week, 5th right now, but this is your first time here. Jade, what is it like jumping in a car knowing you only have 20 minutes of practice qualifying and then you race here in a couple hours?
It's pretty nerve-wracking, but my Big Machine Racing team has always given me a fast Spike Cooler Chevrolet, and they trust me to go out there and learn as quickly as I can and try to make the most of it.
So far he has. We'll see if that top 5 hangs on for him.
Yeah, I mean, the RCR Alliance, you can really see it with that race team. And we might have a threat for Cole Custer here. The 11 of Daniel Hemrick pacing good.
We saw Cole really gain on Trevor Bayne through 3 and 4 in the Ghost car, and now we're seeing it again. Cole really took advantage of that difficult turn 3 and 4, wind blowing. How does that affect your car? All the things you have to think about as a driver when you dive down into turn 3.
Our defending champ, the first of the Colleague cars to make a run in qualifying today. Daniel Hemrick is 3rd behind Bayne and Custer.
How cool was that last lap in Phoenix for that championship? Wow, everything all season long came down to one corner, one decision. How do I get around Austin Cindric and win a championship? And our buddy Daniel Hemrick figured it out.
Saw Kyle Sieg. They have some work to do there. And going back to practice, we knew that they had some problems, so we'll keep an eye on him. And the next car to make a run is going to be the 8 of Josh Berry, another first-timer when it comes to racing at this 2-mile oval.
He adapts pretty quickly, Adam. It would not surprise me at all to see this 8 car go out and get the fastest time so far. He's just very talented, and we know how good the JR Motorsports cars are.
Well, so many times last year, he won at Martinsville early. And any time you win a race, as you know, it's so difficult. That's impressive. But I felt like throughout the balance of the year, what was best about him and what he was able to do is his performance at tracks where he had never been. Michigan, one of those, led a bunch of laps. That's the other 2-mile track on the circuit, and perhaps some of that knowledge will transfer here. And as you said, we anticipate he'll be fast, and as he comes off turn 2, right now tracking somewhere just outside the top 5.
Nice little run off turn 2. These guys sometimes will sacrifice a little bit on the entry to try to get the car aimed and really use the big sweeping exits to pick up speed. You can see Josh not quite able to keep pace with Cole Custer.
Laid right on top of his teammate right now, Sam Mayer. Junior Motorsports led the way in practice, and a pair of their cars in the top 6 now. Berry is 5th on the board. Regan?
Adam, Cole Custer's currently top on the board, first position in this qualifying session. Cole, you told me maybe you left a little bit out there. Is it going to be enough to keep the pole position, though, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there's some pretty good guys left, so I don't know. I think I left a few tenths out there. Still trying to get back used to it. You know, that 15 minutes or 20 minutes of practice, it's hard to get your bearings straight, but it's so fun getting back in the Xfinity Series. I mean, these cars are just so fun to drive. I think we have a pretty solid car with our Production Alliance Mustang, so hopefully have a good race today.
Good luck today, Cole. Adam, he told me the Production Alliance, he actually met them in Victory Lane in 2019. That's how this deal came together. Very cool. Winning always pays, doesn't it?
No doubt about it. And he's had such an impressive career. In fact, you go back to 2019 when he won here. That was one of his 7 wins that season.
Wow.
That's when we had the big 3, right? Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Cole Custer.
And they, we said they were Cup superstars in the future, and I think we might have nailed that one. 19th fastest for Ryan Vargas. Swan on board again this week. They had such a fun time down in Daytona. It's cool to see them return on the side of the 6 car.
Quick update, we saw Kyle Sieg pull out of line. He was scheduled to run, so he's been placed on the 5-minute clock. They got 5 minutes to get everything where it needs to be, or their opportunity to go out will be taken away. And here's the second car from the colleague operation, Landon Castle. His teammate Hemrick is 3rd. We'll see where he goes here in the 10.
What about that run for Jeremy Clements? He's still in the top 5 and tracking right along with the 10 car of Castle. This is an interesting story. I think everybody's looking forward to seeing how well Landon's going to do with this great ride that he's got for 2022.
You know, Colleague did some great things last week at Daytona, but didn't get the full payoff. Allmendinger was 2nd, the only car they had inside the top 10. And for Castle here, just behind the team car, he's 4th. There's Reddick.
Yeah, looks like he's having a good morning. Looking very California stylish, doesn't he?
You think he bought those when he was out here for the Clash?
This guy loves this track, doesn't he? Brandon Jones.
Yeah, I mean, as we've talked about, won the pole here a couple of years ago, won both stages, and if not for an incident on a restart, could very well have won the race.
What about that turn?
I'd say he looks good right now.
Yeah, now we saw how fast the 07, our Ghost car in the back, we saw how fast he was on turn 4 exit. Really was better than most everybody right through there. See if he gains that ground. There he goes. What a turn that was by Custer.
Is it going to be enough for Brandon Jones at the line? It will not be. He's 2nd, 40.072. He just couldn't hang on to it.
You know what's fun about that, Adam? We know now what you better have when you get to turn 3 if you're racing against Cole Custer. You better have 2 or 3, 4 car links, because that man just executed off turn 4 perfectly.
getting more and more confident as the cars roll off. And the next one in line, J.J. Yaley. West Coast guy, 45 years old, from Phoenix, Arizona. Home game for him coming in a couple of weeks' time. Man, good start to this lap.
Yeah, I thought that was really impressive. Run through 1 and 2, losing a little bit on the back. See if he can gain any ground down in 3 and 4. I never could figure out which end was more difficult, Adam. They're both so challenging.
Here's Yaley to the line. And you can put him 16th. 11 cars to go in qualifying. Tomorrow on Fox, NASCAR is here in Fontana as the world's best drivers battle it out in Southern California. It all starts 3 Eastern only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Race day hits the air earlier in the afternoon on FS1. We got you covered all weekend long from Fontana, California.
Yeah, you pick any one of those 5 guys to win tomorrow, you probably have a pretty good chance to be correct. Kyle Larson set to defend his title at Sheldon Creed. Driving for Richard Childress Racing, teammates to Daytona winner Austin Hill. It'll be fun to watch this duo this year. They raced against each other in the trucks, and now they're teammates.
He's a California guy, but he had those glasses on. He looked so studious in that interview he did earlier today.
You know, we said at Daytona how studious Austin Hill is. Maybe he and the teammate are getting on the same page.
Sharing notes, if you will. Grew up 2 hours away from here, and he goes 6th.
All right, buddy. That's P6 right there at 40.65.
He won't be thrilled with that, but I like the way this young man races. He'll be able to take advantage of riding the fence this afternoon. When the tires get a little bit worn and they start slipping and sliding down low, he'll probably be one of the first guys to run that really high line. Can't run it right now. It's too dusty up there. Enough grip right there where Brandon Brown's running. So you don't want to push it too high right now. And he'll duck to the bottom in 3 and 4. We've seen that all day. Good looking number 68 car for that family-owned team.
He mentioned something. Hang on to it.
Did you say we were going to be careful? That didn't look careful to me. Going to lose a lot of time as a result of that big slide, but he didn't lose a car, so I'm sure he's okay with that.
But I think it's worth pointing out in the interview that he did is, you know, we're going to race the cars that we raced today basically as a doubleheader next weekend at Las Vegas. So you do have to take care of your equipment. And I mean to tell you, that was close.
That'll get your attention for sure. Ty Gibbs. It's going to be a fun season to watch for Ty. Getting the chance to run full time, and after what he did last year, shows you how impressive that lap by Cole Custer. He's just able to have a solid 1 and 2 and a great 3 and 4, and so far that 40.04 just outside of the 39-second bracket is fastest.
It happened so early that I just, in my mind, I thought, man, someone's going to jump up there and beat him. But I'm not believing that anymore, really.
Well, and this track is so sensitive, and you put the resin on it, that sun beating down on it could take a little bit of grip away, possibly.
Gibbs is 9th. His teammates have been out. Trevor Bayne is 3rd. Brandon Jones is 2nd. So right now, all 3 Joe Gibbs Racing cars are in the top 10. And if someone is going to beat the lap by Cole Custer, I say it will either be this guy or Noah Gragson. Those are my 2 that have a chance to go to the top.
I think you're exactly right, Adam. And this guy, really fast in practice this morning. Running low in 1 and 2. And he slips and slides off. Had a big gap, but couldn't make it work. I think he just said, I got to take a chance and do something different. And man, through the center, it really paid off. It just couldn't get off the corner properly.
And look at that, now tracking, right around 15th.
One thing about having a big slide like that, Adam, in 1 and 2, you got to go down to 3 and 4. and do it all over again.
Right.
And say, I hope she sticks better now.
That'll change your anxiety level, right?
He can win from there, though. I like what that's experienced veteran. He didn't see anybody doing anything really good up top. Decided he would try to something different.
Well, I know he doesn't want to start back there, but I'll tell you, as a guy that's going to be calling the race later today and looking for a little entertainment, I don't mind him starting mid-pack. The 23 is Anthony Alfredo, made his first ever start in the Xfinity Series here 2 years ago when he was running that part-time schedule for Richard Childress Racing. Went to Cup last year, driving for Front Row. Now back in Xfinity, driving for Our Motorsports, top 10 at Daytona last week.
Is that a little tire rub we saw there?
That's
maybe?
what I wondered.
I look for Alfredo to be competitive all year long. He's got experience. He's proven to have speed. Yeah, that's a left rear tire rub, it looks like.
Not overly concerning, I would guess, but these are the tires you'll start the race on later today. Maybe worth noting. Alfredo, appropriately, in the 23 car, goes 23rd.
So you're saying the number and the position. I'm following you. I'm right there with you.
I bet he's not 9th. I bet he's better than 9th, this guy.
Well, I would have thought Justin Allgaier would have been better than 7th, too, when his number's 7, but he's down in 15th. But Gregson had a great practice earlier today. We talked to him. He said he loved his car. Off to a good start.
I would say, even though he hadn't won there, I'd say his best track is Miami. Are there some correlations,
Major
Miami, to here?
similarities. We said you needed to have a couple of 3 car links on Custer when you leave turn 2. He's only got 1, and that's probably not going to be enough from what we've seen so far. A different line for Gregson. He goes to the top.
Stays higher. We know he loves running the wall.
It's not going to work.
Nope. Might be good enough for a position in the top 5, but he's not going to take P1 away from Cole Custer. Gregson at 40.32 is 5th.
C5, good job. Just get it back in here so we're out of their way.
Top 5 now, a Ford, a pair of Toyotas, a pair of Chevrolets. 4 different organizations represented there in the top 5, and now another Ford. This is Ryan Sieg.
Don't you love the parity? These cars, you know, whether you're a Ford, a Chevy, or a Toyota, you're going to be able to get a chance to be up front. That was a good corner, it looked like. Smooth for Sieg.
Had a top 5 run here a couple of years ago.
Dad Rod was really proud that day of his young racer.
Fun family.
Work
dedicated
hard.
to the sport.
Good lap.
12th. You know, they've added, I mean, you and I've known forever Cowboy Starlin, but Steve Addington working with this team now, Jeff Green helping them on the mechanical side, former series champion, as we look at Austin Hill.
Exactly what I told them everybody else did through 3 and 4. Stayed right side just below the 4th seam.
I watch, as you hear him lighting that thing up early, pedaling it off. Couldn't quite hold all the gas he tried to give it.
Seam through 1 and 2, but actually looked like you got through there pretty decent.
Let me shake you up pretty good, Adam, and then throw you into a corner at 175 miles an hour.
Got into 3 hard, but he got there a little late.
That was fun.
7 right there, 40.66.
It makes me feel like I'm behind the wheel when you look at the pictures from that onboard camera looking at all the...
Oh, man, I just got really loose right in the center.
I agree, you did. Did a nice job of pedaling it with the foot and steering with the hands and got it off the corner okay.
Do you think the setups are similar for the RCR cars? Hill, 1,000th of a second quicker than his teammate Sheldon Creed.
And nice corner there for the 16.
I hope he wasn't watching when I said the last guy that could get Custer was the 9 of Noah Gragson, because AJ is laying down a lap here.
Oh, it's so close.
He might get him. Look out. We wrote him off. At least I did. But AJ Allmendinger, first time he's been here since 07, and he's the fastest jumping in front of Custer. How about that?
P1 right there, bud. Go, baby.
Yeah.
Good work there, buddy.
He's got to catch his breath before he can comment. You heard Austin Hill, how much energy it
Good job there, man. Driver back to the garage.
had depleted from him.
Last car, Riley Herbst. And there is an alliance with he and Cole Custer, Bobby Dotter, Stewart Haas Racing. So you would anticipate he'll be pretty good here as well.
Oh, he wants to hammer it so bad, he just can't quite get it down. I think his ride down the back was a little bit smoother than some of the others, didn't it?
He's tracking right around 20th. '16th for Riley Herbst, and qualifying is complete. And the fastest man in Southern California has taken it to the garage on the pole for race number 2 this year. AJ Allmendinger, the 4th pole of his career. What a lap for AJ Allmendinger. He starts on the pole later today here in Fontana, California. A look at the front row. A couple of veterans, AJ and Cole Custer, who won the race here in 2019. Regan Smith.
Well, Adam, it's been since 2007 for AJ, as you noted earlier in the show, for coming to California Speedway. No problem, though. Was the lap as good as it looked?
I was hoping they were going to tell me it was pretty good because I didn't really have much left in it. So I was like, oh, please let me cross the line and tell me at least it's a decent lap. So the Nutrien Ag Solution Chevy Camaro is pretty dialed in. We're a little bit tight in practice. Bruce did a great job making the adjustments going to qualifying. These qualifyings make me a little nervous again because I haven't actually done a lot of them in the Xfinity Series at tracks like this. So good start to the day. We got a long race ahead of us, but at least we get to lead the field.
Definitely get to lead the field to the green flag in this race. Our man Adam Alexander, though, before you went out, he had wrote you off already. Said Noah Gragson was the last car that could get the pole. Was this as much about proving him wrong as it was getting the pole?
Well, I mean, Adam and I have our own issues because I beat him on the golf course all the time. So he tries to throw down on me on other stuff. But AA, still love you, man. So we at least got one.
Shots fired already, Adam.
From one AA to another. AJ, congratulations on the pole. You earned it. You deserve it. And I can't wait to watch him race later on today.
It's going to be so entertaining seeing these guys running from the wall to the apron. And, man, it's one of my favorite racetracks that we go to because of that. All the tire fall off, all the adjustments these drivers are going to have to make as they run laps. It's going to be great.
Xfinity Race Day at 4 on FS1. We're racing at 5 Eastern Time in the booth. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney. We look forward to that. And coming up top of the hour, practice and qualifying for the Cup Series. A whole new look there as well.
It certainly is. These cars prove to be durable in the Coliseum, fast in Daytona, and look at that big hug. That's teamwork right there. I talked about how important the camaraderie is among teams. These guys really enjoy each other's company.
Allmendinger wins the pole. Custer on the front row. Jones and Bain up there. Hemrick, Gregson. Who do you like today? Give me a couple of guys to watch for.
I'm going to watch Trevor Bain. He's a guy that I think is going to be really fun as he gets more and more laps underneath his belt. And then think about Noah Gragson. He loved his car in practice. He'd be a good guy to bet on as well.
By the way, the guys failed to qualify. Joe Graff Jr., Will Rogers, Brennan Poole. Thank you for watching Xfinity Series practice and qualifying with Regan Smith, Jamie Little, Michael Waltrip. I'm Adam Alexander. We'll see you later on. Right now, it's a weekend edition of Race Hub. Here's Caitlin.
Thank you, Adam, and welcome into